a 50-minute session. After that, Mr. Walton will going to guide you how you will going to lead the gym. Please stay seated till all our guests, they are gone. All right, so homeroom teachers will stay with your classes and listen to Mr. Walton's instruction when we will dismiss at the end. All right, so they are almost here. Good evening. And can I have
give them a big round of applause until they're seated, and then we'll start the program.
Accountants and staff ranging from senior accountants all the way up to seniors. It's a very interesting profession. I'll say it is a bit of a desk job, so if you're into physical activity and things like that, I wouldn't recommend being at a desk job, but it's really an interesting profession. You get to experience a lot of different challenges, a lot of different industries, a lot of different businesses, get to make a lot of financial decisions, and get to actually work with a lot of cool people along your path. How I got here. Did my bachelor's, born and raised in Abbotsford, did my bachelor's degree in business accounting at the University of Fraser Valley for approximately about 4.5 years, and then moving on towards the actual CPA school. So CPA Western School of Business, it's kind of like an online platform with some in-person. It's about a 2-year program that you do while you're still going to work, and you also gain practical experience alongside school. Along with, you got to do 4 different modules and chapters along the way, but then you got to get to study for this big final exam, which is 3 days long. It's a super rigorous and extensive exam, but the relief you feel right after that exam is beautiful. Many workplaces will actually give you the summer off to study for that beautiful exam, so luckily, we're lucky to get to work for some place like that. Starting my career, I started off as within a lower level position, entry level position at a junior accountant. Working my way up and just learning along the way, gaining lots of different types of experiences, and getting to where I am today, which I'm appreciative of the profession. One message I would like to leave with everyone here today is that be curious, be eager, and I like to use the word sponge. A sponge absorbs a lot of moisture, but I mean the mental capacity is to absorb a lot of information. You will experience a lot of things, within school, high school, your first college path. Just absorb anything from any challenge or any person you meet. You'll meet a lot of professionals along your way, and just ask them and be curious and be eager. The more eager and curious you become, you'll start to feel that you'll elevate within your life, professionally and physically as well. One thing I may have missed out on is that the profession is, my position alone provides for a lot of work-life balance. I'm able to do a lot of activities outside of the school, outside of my job, because of that. Profession allows for that. So when you're choosing your careers, make sure that your priorities are set and you're kind of looking what you're looking for. I've been involved with this Nation Punjabi school for many years. I've been involved with the Gurdwara Khalsa Diwan Society, which is where this school actually started off. My kids now go to this school, so I'm super proud, and built a lot of relationships with a lot of amazing teachers and a lot of principals that you have here. So I'm really appreciative of this Nation Punjabi school, and I'd like to thank everyone for this opportunity. Thank you.
man who a lot of us, if not all of us, have seen around the school before, Sergeant Gurbir Atwal. He is an RCMP officer and the son of our very dear Vice Principal, Mrs. Atwal, as well as a coach at our school.
Do you have the slide? The first one up there for me, please. Thank you. Awesome. Good morning, everybody. My name is Sergeant Gurbir Atwal, or most of you will know me as Mrs. Atwal's son. That seems to be my legacy here. I'm with the RCMP. I've been with the RCMP for just over 19 years. Oh, actually close to 19 years now. And I'm going to kind of talk about my career and how it's taken different paths so that you kind of have an idea that the RCMP and policing in general isn't just what you see on TV. We do have a lot of different specialities, and if you can see, we have over 150 career specializations. That can go from the integrated homicide investigation team to major crime to serious crime to forensics, ident, and the list just goes on. We have police officers, but we also have civilian members and public service employees. So if you're not interested in carrying a gun and wanting to arrest people, you can always go into that sector as well. With my career anyways, if you want to go to the next slide for me, please. Like most Apne parents, mine also wanted me to become a doctor, an engineer, or something along those lines, or a lawyer. However, I kind of chose a different path. I started university and I went straight to doing my Bachelor of Science in chemistry. Once I started getting into that, I thought, what other field could I go into? Because I wasn't really that happy. I then decided that maybe forensics and ident would be a good thing. So you know that show that you see at CSI Miami and all that stuff, that kind of thing. So I joined policing. To as much as my parents did not love that, they're very proud of me now. And when I went into policing, my career path changed, and I think that's the biggest thing, the message that you're going to hear today is be curious, like it was said before, but also be open to the fact that your life and your circumstances are going to change. You might graduate from high school and you might go into university thinking, I'm going to do this, but then your career path might take you somewhere else. But above all, do something that you enjoy, that you have a passion for. I've been doing this for 19 years, I love it. And my career has taken me all over the place. Not just over Canada, but nationally and internationally as well. So once I joined, and you'll see this child exploitation thing, I started off with General Duty Patrol. I did that for about 5 years. And after that, I decided that I really wanted to investigate sex crimes against children. And that kind of became my specialty. And I just went into a child exploitation unit. I was there for about behavioral sciences. So if anybody here watch Mindhunters, ever see that on Netflix? That kind of stuff. So it was behavioral sciences. I was there for about 11 and a half years. It's part of major crime. I did online child exploitation. So I'm also an online UC operator, which basically means an undercover police officer that goes online. I would portray myself as a 13 or 14-year-old boy or girl and get lured online and catch pedophiles. So that's essentially what my job was. And I caught a lot of people, both locally, nationally, and internationally. I actually was asked to go teach in the Philippines for 3 weeks. And I taught the Philippine National Police as well as the National Bureau of Investigation. It was a great experience to see that and also see how sex trafficking and human trafficking is happening. As you can see, child exploitation is on the rise, especially after COVID. It became very prominent. So if you have any questions in regards to that, you can always come by and ask me as well. If you don't mind, next slide, please. Can anybody tell me who some of these serial killers are, or at least one of them? I know they're a lot older pictures. So you got Robert Pickton, you got Bernardo Moca, you also have Colonel Russell Williams. So after my stint in child exploitation, I joined the Violent Crime Linkage Analysis System. I was in charge of that unit for the Pacific region, which was not just British Columbia, but up north. And essentially what that does is catching serial predators. Violent serial predators, so it has to do with whether they're homicides or they're serial sexual assaults. But it's got to be very serial in nature, meaning one person is doing it over and over and over again. So some of these serial killers, you'll know, they kill people over and over and over again. So my job was to ensure that my unit could link these crimes ahead of time so that we could provide that information to police from different jurisdictions, and they could go and arrest these bad guys. Next slide. So after that stint, the last 3 years, I've actually been working for the FIFA World Cup, which is coming up this year. So right now, I'm in charge for operational planning for safety and security for the FIFA World Cup. So I'm working with the Vancouver Police Department, I'm working with FIFA Canada, and I'm also working with FIFA International in order to ensure that we deliver a safe game. As you know, the RCMP is the provincial police force of British Columbia, and because we have 7 matches here, we're in charge to make sure that we deliver safe games. So what that means is, as you can see here, that's the NSDC, that's where the Vancouver Whitecaps train out at UBC, and that's one of the centers that I'm in charge of. If you go to the next slide, and then you'll see the integrated marine plan. So I'm also in charge of the marine portion of things right now. You'll see that is our Canadian Coast Guard hovercraft. You'll see our police boat here with our West Coast Marine Services, and then you'll see the VPD marine boat here. So making sure that we can deliver safe games both on the water and on land, because there's going to be a massive amount of people coming. So, out of all that, you'll see my career has taken me all over the place. I've been able to do so many different things. The RCMP is, like it says, a career nowhere near the ordinary. And the only thing that they wanted us to deliver something impactful, a message at the very end. There's 2 things. I'll say the first one in English because that's one of the things that I live by is, it's actually a quote, and the quote goes, the true character of a person is how you treat someone that is going to do you absolutely no good, right? It shows you what kind of character you have, what kind of discipline that you have. And the other one that my mom and I share almost daily is from the Gurbani, and it's Guru Mere Sang Sada Hai Nale, right? Always remember God's name and the Shabd, and cherish that, meditate upon that, and he'll always take care of you. That's it.
Thank you, Sergeant Admiral.
I would now like to invite Avneet Sekho to the stage, who will tell us about massage therapy. Avneet is a wonderful person who is always helping with student council and yearbook these activities at the Smith.
Hello everyone, my name is Avneet and I'm a registered massage therapist. I went to DPS from kindergarten to grade 12. I was here for 13 years in those seats. I graduated from DPS in 2015 and started my kinesiology degree at UFB that same year. To be honest, I went into that program with no real idea of what I was going to do with my life. I played soccer from the age of 5 to 17. I was involved in pretty much any sport I could through the DPS Falcons, volleyball, basketball, whatever was available. I wasn't someone who had a 10-year plan. I just knew I didn't want a career where I was sitting at a desk all day. I also wanted to stay connected to the sports and like working with people. While I completed my degree, I discovered massage therapy while volunteering at a physio clinic. What stood out to me was how much one-on-one, hands-on time RMTs had with their patients. People would come in excited for their treatments, leave feeling better, and genuinely just grateful. That's what really stuck with me. So I decided to pursue that. I ended up moving to Victoria for the program, partly to experience living on my own. The program itself is an intensive 2-year program where you learn exactly what you need for the job. And something important to know, you actually don't need an undergrad degree to do the program. You can apply right out of high school or at any stage of your life. Okay, before I explain, how many of you think of a spa or a beach in Mexico when I say the word massage? Okay, yeah, it's a common misconception. I mean, massages do happen in that setting. A registered massage therapist is a licensed healthcare professional who assesses and treats muscle and joint issues using hands-on therapy. It's not just relaxation, especially here in BC. It's part of the healthcare system. We treat injuries, work with ICBC patients, often collaborate with physios, chiros, doctors. RMTs are also one of the regulated health professions in BC. Next one. Okay, the program is pretty intense because there's a lot of information packed into 2 years. You get a mix of classroom learning and hands-on learning. However, there's also a required number of practical hours that you need to complete before graduation. At my school, we had a student clinic where members of the public could book treatments at a discounted rate, and that's how we gained our experience. So you're not just studying, but you're actually kind of working at the same time. We learned about a wide range of orthopedic and physical conditions and how to treat them, and then actually got to apply that knowledge through different in-reaches and outreaches. Some of my in-reaches included working with complex care patients, like those with cancer, post-surgical conditions, multiple injuries, as well as mental health settings, prenatal care. And for outreaches, those were fun. We got the opportunity to work with the national women's rugby team because they're based out of the island. Pacific FC, it's a professional soccer team in the Canadian Premier League. Next one. I work with all kinds of people on a daily basis. Athletes, students, desk workers, ICBC patients, work injuries, pregnant people, honestly, just anyone dealing with any kinds of pain or day-to-day stress. I love my job. It's really rewarding to see someone come in pain and then leave feeling better. You also build really strong relationships with your patients. There are some patients that I've been seeing for over 4 years, and others bring in their entire family. There's also a lot of flexibility in this career. You're not limited to one setting. You can work in sports, in clinics, you can even open up your own practice, you can work in a spa, whatever you enjoy. I also have the flexibility of making my own schedule. I can adjust my hours depending on my goals. So if I have a big spending coming up, like vacation or anything, I just work extra and save money, and then I can scale back when I feel like I need a break. There used to be a required number of credits that you had to complete to maintain your license. That's no longer mandatory. However, they're still available for people to expand their skills, specialize in certain areas. I recently completed a prenatal course that just teaches you more than you learn in school. And other areas that people can focus on and cater are sports therapy, chronic pain management, specific conditions, lymphatic drainage, so you basically can make your career what you want it to be. If I could tell my 17-year-old self one thing, it would be this. It's okay to not have everything figured out. There are great careers outside of the traditional university path. It's okay to change direction and figure things out as you go. And from my experience, hands-on careers are also very underrated. The best advice that I can give you right now is explore different paths. Talk to people who are already in careers that you might be interested in. Don't make decisions based on pressure. Think about the kind of lifestyle that you want and not just the job title. Thank you for having me. I wish you all the best in your future. You have very exciting futures ahead of you.
Thank you, Avneet.
We are now halfway through the event. Let's continue on by inviting Hardeep Braj, who is a chartered professional accountant.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hardeep Braj. I go by Coach. A lot of you have met probably half of you here through basketball. I would say I've been coaching since October, and I've met a lot of you from grade 8 to 12. I would say I think that's the majority of the crowd here. I'm gonna just go through a bit of a timeline of how I got to where I am today. I am a chartered professional accountant, yes. That is more of a schooling term, I guess you can say. I got my letters, I got my designation. I am a chartered professional accountant, yes, but that is not what I practice. And that is totally okay. And that is something that I want to bring to light in terms of how I ended up here and doing what I do today. For my day job and what I do, I am actually a finance professional, you can call it. A lot of my background is through banking. And what I do, and investors, them get financing. I help arrange money for them. I help arrange financing through banks, through credit unions, through private source of funds when those individuals cannot go to the banks for whatever reason. So I'll start from the beginning. When I graduated, when I was in grade 8, I played a lot of basketball, and I was not good at it. So I played a lot more basketball. I became really good at it, and that was my primary focus. So those of you that are in younger grades, focus on sports as much as you can. That is something that I will always push on. Playing sports teaches you a lot about character, integrity, responsibility, and it allows you to really focus on more than just school. School is going to continue. You're still going to go to class. You're going to learn about all the different subjects, math, English, sciences, whatever the case may be. Okay? When I was your age, I went through that path, and what I wanted to do, I had two things in my head. I wanted to be a police officer, okay? And I also wanted to own a business. That's how I thought. I finished grade 12. Basketball was doing well for me. I continued to play basketball after high school. And I needed to enroll into school. This was the beauty of all of this. In order for me to be allowed to play basketball, I had to enroll into a program and take classes and make sure I'm also excelling in school, and I need to have good grades, and I need to make sure I'm passing, and I need to make sure I am a leader. I had to be all of that to be allowed to play basketball, to be allowed to be in sports, okay? So I went on and I enrolled into a bachelor's administration program, and I went to school for 3 to 4 years, and I got my business degree, my bachelor's degree, okay? Remember that thought I had of wanting to be a police officer? That was still there. Because I was like, I just want to be active for the rest of my life. I don't want to sit at a desk, but I also want to own a business. So I was at a crossroads. I didn't know. That's okay. I sort of just went with it. And at that time, in order for me to play, I needed to decide, did I want to go into criminology to go that route, or do I want to go into business? So I said, I'll just go into business. So I went business. These guys are on my basketball team. They're going to be running lines. And so I went the business route. As soon as I got my degree, I stopped playing basketball. As soon as I got my degree, a business degree in about 4 years, I went into a There you go, we're good. Am I too close to you guys? I might be too close to the speakers, I think. Is that good? Okay. So as soon as I got my business degree, I went into a junior accounting role because the natural progression was, I got my business degree, what am I going to do now? Well, you don't get your business degree to start a business. You get your business degree, you learn how business works, and then you have an opportunity to go in multiple directions. You can go into marketing, sales, accounting, taxes, whatever it is. You can pick whatever angle you want to take. I chose the accounting route. I said if I'm going into business, I will choose the accounting route. And so at that time, I had also decided to get married. So I needed to have a job. So what I decided was I was going to leave school, and this is what I'm saying. Things happen along the way, and you decide as you go, as long as you continue to follow your passion. I got married, I dropped school for about 8 months, and I got a job. I became a junior accountant at a company, and I just did make sure I'm collecting money and I'm paying people, collecting money and I'm paying people. Realized in 8 months, I'm not going to achieve my goals of where I want to be financially. So then I went back to school, got my designation as, I went back to school, I went to UBC to get my CPA designation. And shortly after I got my designation, I got hired at a bank to do financing, to help finance buildings, help finance businesses. And as soon as I went down that path, I realized, okay, maybe I don't know if I want to work for somebody forever. I want to do something on my own. And while trying to figure that out, I ended up leaving the bank to go run a company for somebody else that had started a new business. They were in the medical business. Then I went in and I became their general manager. Then I was helping them recruit doctors. doctor and starting dental clinics and starting medical clinics and starting pharmacies. And so I started helping them run their business and teaching them how to run their business. And that was all from all the experience I had had through schooling and through working at a bank. And then shortly after that, I decided it was time for me to start my own business. So all the knowledge I had gained and experience through schooling, my BBA, to my CPA, and then to working as a junior accountant, and then working at a bank in commercial lending, and then helping doctors run their business and how a business runs in general, looking at everything. I put it all together, and I started my own business. Some people start their own business right away when they're 18, 19 years old. Some start their own business when they're 57 years old. It doesn't matter. You can start it at any time. And so that's the path I took to get here. And while I did all of that, my number one constant on the back end for me was sports and basketball. And that sort of kept me consistently attached to the sport. And now I have my own business I've been running since 2018. And I help people get financing. But along with that, I have taken up coaching. I have my own basketball academy, which is more of a way to give back, to teach students like yourself that this is my path, and so for me, the basketball that I teach on the side is a way to teach you more than basketball and give you advice. And I've had many of you actually come to me in the last 3 to 4 months where we've had these discussions. So at the end of it all, I would sort of tie this all to passion. Whatever your passion, whatever you feel today, it might change a year down the line, it might change 3 years down the line. But continue to follow it. You're not going to find your answer today, or maybe you have found your answer today, then that's great. Follow down a path. Go down a path and continue. And then you might come a situation where you have to pick a lane. And then you pick that lane and off you go. And if you make a decision that you realize a year later, uh-oh, that was not a good decision, I need to go in a different path, and that's okay. Then you go down a different path, but stay committed, work hard, show up on time, and be accountable and be responsible. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Brage.
Next up is Pavan Taliwal, who is an environmental engineer.
All right, good morning. Let's start off with a few questions. I want to see a show of hands from you guys. How many people here enjoy winter sports? I'm talking about hockey, snowboarding, skiing. One? I know you guys, I know there's hockey fans in here. Yep. How many people here eat avocados? Come on, avocado toast, yum. All right, last question. How many people here turned on a tap today? Faucet. Had a drink of water? Yeah, nice. Okay, can someone tell me what these 3 things have in common? Anyone? I think I heard it, water. None of us think about it, but water impacts every part of our life. You drink water, you shower with it, it grows your food, pretty much everything. And how does that water get to you? Has anybody ever thought about that? Well, there are a group of scientists and engineers behind every drop of water that you consume.
I'm one of them. I'm Pavan Dhaliwal, and I am a senior hydrogeologist at Ludorf and Scalmanini Consulting Engineers. That's a mouthful. We are based out of California, where there is a lot of problems with water right now. Huge droughts, not enough drinking water. Our firm deals with all of those things. We go out and we do field sampling. We make monitoring plans, write a ton of reports, which is really boring, but a part of my job, unfortunately. A lot of data analysis. If any of this is interesting to you, you know, there's a lot of spaces in this realm for you to go. Many different jobs, such as mine, engineers, geologists. Somebody told me today they took a geology class in university and really liked it. And that's sort of how I ended up here. My path was not direct, as many other people have spoken about today. I left DPS in 2001 after grade 10 and graduated from Mowat, went on to UBC, and took every class under the sun to my parents' dismay. I studied psychology, ancient Egyptian history, neurobiology, chemistry, physics, forestry, you name it, I've probably taken a class on it. It wasn't until I came to a class about international water rights that I really got sparked, something I was inspired. How is our water regulated? You know, who decides who gets what? These questions are important, especially for our future and livelihood. And that's what led me to my master's program at the University of California in Davis. And I got my master's in hydrologic sciences and focused on groundwater. 60% of California's water comes from groundwater. That's not the case here in BC. Everybody here is lucky. There's a lot of surface water. But in California, it's a real issue, and I wanted to be a part of solving that problem. I've been fortunate to be in my job for over 13 years now, and I still love it. It's challenging every single day, but it's a good kind of challenge. It's the kind that makes you want to get up in the morning and go to work, because that's not always the case for everyone. What I would say to all of you today is that this part of the world that you live in right now is very small, and the world is very big. I challenge all of you to go out there and explore that bigger world. Because if you're ever going to find your place in it, if you're ever going to find your passion, where you want to be, what you want to do, you have to see the world before you know where you belong. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pavan.
Next up is Sunny Clare, the junior Clare brother, who is also a lawyer. As his homeroom teacher, Mrs. Mott says that he was an outstanding student and an amazing soccer player.
Such as myself. In terms of what a criminal defense lawyer is specifically, I like to consider myself as a people's problem solver. So if you have an issue, I'm there to resolve it. Generally speaking, these issues relate to people that have been accused of crimes or other unlawful activity. So for myself, that could be anything from minor offenses like thefts, driving offenses, whether that's traffic tickets or driving while impaired or while prohibited, to more serious offenses like robberies, drug trafficking, and even things such as homicide. In terms of what being a lawyer is about or is comprised of, a significant portion of it as a barrister involves being in the courtroom, whether that's for conducting trials, sentencings, bail hearings, things of that nature. But it also involves a significant amount of work outside of the courtroom. That includes drafting documents, doing your legal research, communicating with Crown or police officers such as Mr. Atwell, and also having interactions with clients, whether it's obtaining information, advising them throughout the process, or guiding them and managing even their emotions and expectations. In terms of why my work is important, I'll try to give you guys an example here. So if Mr. Atwell here, sorry, I apologize to use you, but to make this more relatable, if he were to come up to you now and say, open up your bag and let me search your bag, how many of you would refuse that? Oh, well, I'm actually very proud to see that. And I hope that's because you guys understand your rights. I know a lot of people acquiesce, which means we give in to or we accept things as we're told. But I'm here to tell you that it's actually a good thing to question things and to sometimes challenge authority. And the reason for that is we have rights that are given to us constitutionally, and it's important for those rights to be upheld. And that's an important part of living in a just society. So our roles as criminal defense lawyers, not only to simply defend an individual, but to uphold the rights of anybody that might come after you as well. So you have, for example, constitutional rights not to be subject to unlawful search and seizure or unreasonably detained or arrested. And for that reason, I consider the work that we do to be very important in society. And of course, we respect the work that the police are doing, but it is important to have that balance there to ensure that whether it's police power or legislative power doesn't go unchecked. And I'll summarize that by saying there's a very important maxim in Canadian law, and it says that it would rather be appropriate that 1,000 guilty men go free than a single innocent man be in jail. And I think that's very important for all of us to appreciate and understand. In terms of becoming a lawyer, there's a few different paths that you can take. There's generally two paths. You can either study domestically, which means here in Canada, or you can study abroad. And I'll kind of briefly explain both of them. So if you were to study here in Canada, Path 1, you would graduate from high school, then you would attend a university or college to obtain an undergraduate degree. Once you've obtained that degree, you would complete your LSAT, which is the law school admissions test. And dependent upon the results of that and applying to law schools, you'd gain admission into law school, and then you would graduate from law school. And I'll pause there, and I'll now turn to discussing the second option. If you're studying abroad, you have the option to attend school in other Commonwealth countries, such as England, Australia, even India, where you're actually able to attend law school directly out of high school. So you don't actually need to obtain an undergraduate degree, and that would allow you to save some time. Once you complete your law degree in the UK, you then have to come back to Canada if you wish to practice here, and you would complete some exams that are equivalency exams and make your degree essentially the same standard or recognized the same as a Canadian law school degree. So now, once you've achieved or obtained that status, you're now at the same place as a Canadian law school graduate. And whether you've gone to school here or abroad, now you would do something called articling, which is essentially a practicum in which you work for a lawyer at a law firm, you obtain practical experience, and then you complete bar exams. And those would be the final set of exams before you're officially a licensed and qualified lawyer. And then in terms of what area of law you may end up practicing, essentially that comes down to interest and experience. You're not committed to any particular area of law. While you're doing your articles or while you're a student, you have the opportunity to explore and work in different areas of law, and hopefully you'll find something that interests you and is suitable to your strengths and characteristics. In terms of my connection to Smith W School. I'd like to give a brief bit of information and also show my appreciation for the school as well. So I attended Smith W School from grade 2 to grade 10. Grade 10 was the highest grade at the time. And I'd like to say, and even just sitting here and observing some of the students throughout the presentations, I noticed there's particular groups or individuals that haven't paid much attention or are focused somewhere else. And I don't mean to call anyone out, but I was exactly that same student as well. And the reason I bring that up is it's okay that if you're not, the student who's achieving A's or, at the top of your class, what's more important is having the recognition to understand that it's about applying yourself. If you apply yourself, you believe in yourself, and you have discipline, anything is attainable. What the Smith W School will give you is a foundational basis in your education, and hopefully in those characteristics and skills to set you up for success. But really, it has to come from within. In terms of in intelligence, it's often measured in standardized ways, but in reality, it's not singular or uniform. There's different strengths, and we all learn differently. So regardless of where you may feel you are now as a student, I'd like to suggest that it's very important that you apply yourself, whether that's musically, whether that's in your traditional subjects, or whatever it may be. But if you believe in yourself, you apply yourself, and you pursue what genuinely fulfills you, you can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. And if you apply those skills and that direction in your life as a student here, and also in your future studies, you will accomplish all that you set out to accomplish. And for that, I am very thankful for my experience and privilege to have been a student here, not only to have been educated here, but to have been surrounded by and guided by teachers, principals, and even peers that had a significant impact on my educational journey, but more importantly, on my development as a person. I'd also like to say that success, even though myself and all of the other great speakers here are giving you guys advice on careers, success isn't just about a career, nor is life only about a career. I think what's important is building a life that's meaningful to yourself, but also to those that you hold most dearly, and for the larger community. So I would suggest strongly that you take the time in considering what it is that's important to you in life, what you want your life to look like in the future, and then consider and pursue a career accordingly. Lastly, I did mention earlier in a little blurb where we completed a little speech earlier, that I'm very thankful for some of the teachers, but I would be remiss not to thank Mr. Gill and Mrs. Chan, who are no longer here with us. I probably should have been kicked out of the school. I was suspended multiple times. But I say that to give you guys the idea that it's okay, like I said, if you're not the most well-behaved student or the top of your class, but if you believe in yourself and you have those supports here, you can succeed. And I'm really appreciative of their support and all of my teachers from grade 2 to grade 10. And thank you guys for your time and for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clear.
Last but not least, we have Ranveer Singh Ramana and Paramjeet Gill, who are both insurance brokers.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Paramjeet, and I have with me Ranveer Singh Gurmana. We both decided to come up together because we're talking about the same thing, and I was afraid because I was lost that he's going to steal my words and then I would have nothing left to say. So that's why we're together on
I
this
didn't know what to say because Mrs. Apple told me I only had to be up here for 2 minutes. Well.
Anyway, before we go further, I want to ask you a question. How many of you decided or thought that you're going to be an insurance agent when you grow up? Anyone? Nobody? The reason I ask you, it's not your fault, it's often a neglected career. That's what I find. But it is an interesting career. But again, I'll tell you a joke, and the reason it's neglected because where my generation grew up in Punjab, the word insurance we only read in books. There was no word insurance in everyday life. So that's why our thinking is different. But when we thought about insurance, traditionally we thought about life insurance and life insurance agents. Because in the past, when there was not very many Punjabis, the life insurance walks into your house and forcefully writes the insurance policy on you, which you didn't want. That's why people didn't like the insurance agents traditionally. And I'll tell you a joke, and I'll say that in Punjabi, and I apologize to people who don't understand Punjabi. कोई लाइफ इंश्योरेंस वाला एजेंट किसी दे घरे आया सीगा कि ओह कहना मैं थोड़ी इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी लिखनी है उन्होंने मोड़ता उन्होंने वो फिर आया फिर मोड़ता 3-4 वारी मोड़ता वो फिर हटिया नहीं गा करके इंश्योरेंस वाले थोड़े जे ढीठ होंगे मैनू छड्ड के असी वो फिर आ गया तो उन्हें कहा अज मैं इनू सबक सिखाना है जो 5वीं-6वीं बार आया उन्हें चाह चु पिया के तो उन्हें ढा लिया गोडिया थल्ले दे लिया कुटिया चंगा वो कहता भी हुण जे चंगा होया हुण नहीं मुड़ के आउंदा तो वो मेरे वर्गा सीगा उन्हें उठ के कपड़े झाड़ के कहता बाई फिर हुण पॉलिसी लिख लगे insurance career is today here in Canada is interesting and it can be chosen as a career. Everything you do, you need insurance for. Did everybody hear the big roar when Sunny drove in? That car, when you buy it, when you grow up, you need insurance agent to insure that. That 3 million mansion that you live in, you need insurance agent to insure that. Life insurance, travel insurance, anything that you do, you need insurance. It's mandatory when you have a mortgage on the house. So you can't do without insurance. And it's not only working in insurance office as an agent. There are many, that's where you start at, but there are many other jobs that it leads to. You need underwriters. You need adjusters. They all go from small offices like where we work now. 80% of people that work with ICBC they were brokers at one time. So that opens a door to go there. Open up your own restoration company. So sometimes we think that I don't want to be stuck at Saxby Insurance for the whole life. I don't have a choice because I'm 63 years old, but he does. He can go anywhere he wants. And just so you know, he always blames me that I brought him to Saxby and he's stuck there now.
Well, I guess.
So go ahead.
Yeah, I think you took over. Insurance is fun. It's interesting. You get to do a lot of different things. You drop your phone, you need insurance, guys. If you want to go on a trip, you need insurance. I don't want to bore you. I can tell half of you are half asleep already. So, I went to this school for about 13 years in the 80s, long before you guys were born. Very, very old. 1989, I started at DPS. I'll say one thing. The school is very, very special. You have one of the best teachers, the best principals. Your education is top notch. But at the end of the day, Do what makes you happy. If you want to go to school, go to school. If you want to work, work. Just enjoy life. Be yourself. Simple as that. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ramona, Mr. Gill.
We would like to once again thank all of today's speakers for taking time out of their busy days to give us information about their fields. Could we please get a big round of applause for all of our speakers?
Now we would like to invite Mr. JD to the stage to give the closing statements.
How are we doing? Good morning, everyone. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Can we give a big round of applause to our presenters today? So thank you to all of you for inspiring all the students here. And while I was sitting at the back, I was reading all these big banners here. Find your passion, build your career, unlock your future. You are your only limit. I remember when Dr. Gill, founding principal of our school, used to address all the students, and many of them will witness me today. He used to say, sky is the limit. You can apply, as Sunny mentioned, in any field of the careers, and you will see that the passion you are carrying with you will help you to build your career path. ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਦੀ ਕੋਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਉਹ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਸਾਈ ਵਸਤ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਹੋਈ ਜਿਸ ਸੇਤੀ ਮਨ ਲਾਇਆ। ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਦਾ ਮਨ ਅਪਲਾਈ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕੰਮ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਤੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਸਾਈ ਵਸਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਨ ਲਾਇਆ, ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਹੋ ਹੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਦੀ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਜਰਨੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦਸ਼ਮੇਸ਼ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਾਏ, ਉਹ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਨਸਪੀਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ। ਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੋਣਹਾਰ ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀ ਹੋ ਦਸ਼ਮੇਸ਼ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ। ਸੋ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਗ੍ਰੈਜੂਏਟ ਹੋਵੋਗੇ, then you will realize the importance of your educational journey at Dashmesh here, as we heard today from our guest speakers here. So 52 of the 2026 grads, you are sitting at the back, and there will be moments when you will come back here and deliver the same message to the elementary students. By that time they will be here on these chairs in their middle school and high school age. So on behalf of our school community, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Mrs. Mann and Mrs. Atwal for their leadership in organizing the 4th annual Dashmesh Career Expo. Your vision and dedication have created a meaningful platform that truly benefits our students. So we are deeply grateful to our guest speakers, our alumni and professionals from diverse fields. You took the time to share your educational journeys, the challenges you have overcome, and your success stories. Your experiences are not only inspiring, but also incredible, valuable in helping our students see what is possible. So thank you to all the students for your active participation and good listeners. And soon you will be engaged in the information question answer sessions at the cafeteria. And to our teachers for guiding and preparing students to make the most of this opportunity. A special appreciation goes to our school administration and to our school board members for taking time out to be part of this Career Expo today. We are thankful for your continued support, and to our media club and the sound team for ensuring everything runs smoothly behind the scenes. So finally, to all the volunteers who are wearing colorful outfits here today, so thank you to our MCs who contributed their time and effort. So this event wouldn't be possible without you. So thank you once again for coming together to make this Career Expo such a success and an inspiring experience for our students. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking time today. So now our guests will leave with our board members and Mrs. Atwal. And I welcome Mr. Walton on the stage to take over and how we go back in the classes. So all of you will have a direction from Mr. Walton, and